But I was going to say that's okay. It's kind of okay, but it's giving me trauma. Anyways, let's get into the video. Number one, when you start animation with no art experience, it's hard. No, but I basically picked up a pencil for drawing like a couple months before I started animating. So I didn't have like some crazy animation background, or I should say illustration background, before I started animation. I just kind of like went right into it. I can put a little clip up on the screen of what I made. Because I started animation last Christmas, so like December of 2025, because I saw so many really, really cool 2D animators on YouTube doing like original stories, story time animation, and anything in between. And I'm over here like, I want to do this stuff. This stuff is so cool. Why aren't I doing this? And I was like, okay, well, let me just like hop on the train. Let me start making some animations, storytime animations, whatever, animations with original characters, blah, blah, blah. And then you end up finding out that, oh, I have no idea what I'm doing. And everything is like way harder than I ever thought it could be. And, you know, that's okay. That's fine. But did I think like having no experience was going to be this terrible? No, because okay. So imagine me, I'm sitting at my desk. This is literally during Christmas. This is like, okay, so me and my family, we took Christmas off, and I think we had like a week where like we had free time for Christmas. And I'm not kidding, every single moment where we're not having like a family celebration, I'm just at my computer with my little drawing pad, just drawing out of my mind to try and finish this animation. I mean, I had no idea what I was doing. I was drawing till like 2 a.m. every single day. And that was that. Like, there was no time for anything else. It was only animation. And by the end of it, I'm telling you, there was this one Christmas dinner that me and my family had. I'm sitting at the Christmas dinner so stressed out of my mind, and all I can think about is like, don't start sobbing at the Christmas dinner. Don't start sobbing at the Christmas dinner. You have to wait till you get home, because I was so stressed out of my mind. I was like, I have to learn animation. Okay, I don't want to make this too long. Next horror. Okay, the next horror is absolute obsession. So, yeah, I mean, as you just heard in the last story, I became so obsessed with animation, mostly because of other YouTubers that are actually like doing really cool stuff. And I just got so obsessed with it, and I just really wanted to make something cool. You know, I feel like we constantly get into the comparing game where as an artist, you look at another artist who you are inspired by, and then you go, oh, I would love to make similar art as that artist. And then you go and you make your art, and you go, oh, wait. And you hold up your art to their art, and you go, this doesn't look the same. This does not look even similar. And, you know, it's kind of just life. I mean, maybe I have heard there are many, many great, very talented, naturally gifted artists. How beautiful and wonderful that is. No, that did not happen with me. I don't know I feel like that's probably rare though. I feel like most artists, the struggle is real, right? We become obsessed with making a certain piece of art. Either it's visual art, it's music, it could even be like making a certain dish or baking a certain kind of baked good. I don't know. I'm not a baker. Or, you know, baking a pastry or something. And you're out here and you're going, I'm going to make the best pastry. I'm going to make Gordon Ramsay's beef Wellington. And then you make it and it is terrible. The dough is undercooked. The beef Wellington is overcooked. And everything is just not where it should be. The layer of mushroom in the beef Wellington is thick. It's terrible. It's awful. Sorry, this comparison is so aggressive. What I'm trying to say is that you try to basically copy what somebody else has done, and I've failed doing that. It's the same thing of I love singing, right? I love singing, and then I go, okay, well, I'm obsessed with this song and this certain singer, so I'm going to sing this song. And then you sing it, and guess what? It doesn't sound like the singer. Not that you don't have the same voice as the singer, but that you can't hit the same notes. And, you know, I think that's why people find their own style. of art. This is kind of a tangent, but generally speaking, like, this is why you have to find your own style. You can be inspired by others' styles, but you almost have to take in all these different inspirations, make it your own. And then also what you have to do is, like, I'm not supposed to say remedies right now. I'm supposed to get to that part later. But what you're supposed to do is take all these different inspirations and make it your own, and make it to a point where, make it a style that you are comfortable creating. Okay, yeah. So the horror was absolute obsession. I think we've all become obsessed with making a certain piece of art or obsessing over a certain piece of art and then comparing ourselves to other people. And that doesn't go very well. Next, horror. Everything takes so long. I don't know if everyone else has experienced this, but you look on social media, and I know this is another, I'm going to say I'm comparing myself to other people again, but you'll look at social media and, okay, so me personally, I've been doing a lot of 3D art. You're probably seeing it behind me right now. I'm just constantly trying to do more 3D art, 3D modeling, 3D animating, 3D rigging, blah, blah, blah. The thing is that I've seen so many videos where it'll be some guy and he'll have some sculpture and he'll go, oh yeah, this took me 3 hours. And it is like the Mona Lisa. It's like some people will 3D sculpt like a huge dragon in like 3 hours. And I'm like, how did you make that? How did you do that? Is that even humanly, physically possible that you could create such a piece of art in such a little amount of time? And so if we're comparing it straight to what I'm doing, I will be making an animation. Right now, I'm redesigning 9 characters. It's kind of difficult. I'm redesigning all of them in a different kind of style that I've never done before. And I have no idea how to sculpt like this. So I'm like going over all these Blender tutorials on YouTube going, how do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do that? Now I'm learning. I feel I'm learning. I'm getting more powerful in the platform of Blender. But at the same time, the amount of time that it takes me to complete a project in comparison to somebody else who already knows what they're doing, it's months. It's months and months and months difference. So if I want to create a full animation episode, let's say I wanted to create like a 10-minute animation episode with 9 different characters, I am going to struggle, and it is going to take me so much time to learn to do all these different things. Now, guess what? I want to do that, and I'm excited to take that step. You know, I've accepted that personally, but it's just kind of hard. It's actually really hard. It's really hard. Okay, next, horror. Learning the platforms. So this is another thing that I was thinking about is there's a lot of different things that are different from 3D and 2D animation. I think a lot of people really understand the concepts that are different on both of those platforms and on both of those different kinds of animation. But really what we're looking at is 3D modeling, 3D rigging, and then 3D animation. And then for 2D animation, we're looking at skills like how good of an illustrator is the animator, how well can they draw a character and then redraw them so that they look very similar in the next frame. And then we're also looking at, really, this is where platform differences come in. So now we have like Blender, and so I started with Harmony. For my 2D platform, I started with Harmony. I did their free trial that was like, I don't think, was it 30 days? I think it might be 30 days. It's pretty long. The only problem with it is that the premium version of Harmony is like more than $1,000 a year. That might be super off, but I'm pretty sure that if I looked it up, I think it's like more than $1,000 a year. Let me look it up real quick. Yeah, so Harmony is more than $1,000 a month, not a month. Oh, could you imagine it was a month? No. Harmony is more than $1,000 a year for their premium version, which basically unlocks all the compositing features, I'm pretty sure. I could be a little wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it does. Anyways, so yeah, learning a platform. So I've been learning Blender. I started learning Blender, I want to say around February. Around February of 2026. And Blender is a platform that I had used prior, but for like only a couple things. Like I think I modeled like a couple like squares just for fun, and that was basically it. My real learning started around February, and it's been I want to say I've learned a lot. I don't know if my progress has been exactly what I've wanted it to be, although I've basically poured my life into Blender at this point. Blender, I don't know, illustrations, drawing is cool, but for me, I don't know if I would ever like full-time dive into 2D illustration, 2D animation, because it just feels so difficult. I am not an illustrator, just flat out. I feel so much more comfortable 3D modeling, even though I'm not that very good of a 3D modeler, do not get me wrong. And I just think that 3D animation for me is a lot easier to express my characters and the things that I want to do. So anyways, and if you saw my last animation, you'll immediately see, okay, that is 3D animation, but it is like the most basic form of 3D animation possible as far as character design goes. And I'm really taking that to the next level with what you might be seeing behind me. I'm not taking it to the next level, like artistically speaking, as far as like the world goes for 3D animation, but I'm definitely taking it to the next level as in comparison to what I've done in the past. So I'm happy about that. But it's still very, very hard. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about some of the remedies to these horrors. And I'm kind of just going to go through this list really quick because I don't want this video to take that long to make. But first things first, the remedy to no experience, right? If you're going to animation with absolutely no experience, this is the first thing I would do. Get experience. This is kind of a joke answer. It is kind of a joke answer, but honestly, the only thing that fixes no experience is experience. So how to get experience, right? This is a real remedy. This is actual advice. Please just watch tutorials and do the tutorials. Now, I will tell you, I tried to learn Blender years and years and years ago with the Blender guru. If you've heard of him, you've heard of him. If you haven't, you haven't. There's the notorious donut that everybody makes. Guess what? I was on that tutorial for a good, 5 minutes. And then I decided to leave because guess what? A donut is not going to excite me. If a donut is in real life and sitting in front of me, I'm going to devour the donut. If I have to make it in Blender and spend 50 hours learning Blender to make a donut, I'm just not going to do that because that's stupid. Sorry, I'm being really frank. I'm being really, really honest, but honestly, I'm getting so worked up. I don't know why. But truthfully, the only thing that makes me want to make art is if I am experiencing the art through the project that I want to make. So for example, I learned rigging so that I could make the past characters that I made. Right now, I'm learning much more about 3D character modeling because I want to make my specific characters. I'm not just following tutorials in order to make my own stuff or in order to make somebody else's things that they've made. I'm following tutorials so that I can make my own things. And this is where I get a lot better at stuff. It's interesting. For example, like when I was in school and there was a writing assignment. Guess what? I wasn't really ever passionate about writing assignments unless it was something that I previously had known about, or if it was like a book that I really liked, but that was kind of rare. When I really enjoyed writing is when I was writing my own stories. When I myself sat down and started writing, that's how I got my practice. I don't know if other people can exactly relate to this kind of dynamic with your own work and with practice, but I can tell you right now that when I was practicing my own stuff, I cared so much more, put so much more time in, and I delivered way more often than when somebody else gave me an assignment. That's just how I personally feel. If you want to get experience learning any kind of art whatsoever, I would immediately think of what would make you passionate enough to start doing it right now. That's what I would tell you. Okay, so how to remedy your absolute obsession with a certain art style? Please pace yourself. Okay, it is very difficult. I know it's very difficult to pace yourself. I've just jumped into so many things so fast. The problem is that you need to pace yourself. If you don't pace yourself, you're going to end up tired, exhausted, and there's going to be times where you're going to get emotional, not feel like you're gaining as much progress as you should be gaining, and then you might just drop out. You never want to drop out of learning an art style. I'm just telling you, unless you know it's definitely not for you. I really want to, if I had started Blender when I was 16, like I wanted to originally, and I had not just started playing video games again because it was so much easier. Now, I don't know who I'd be, but I'd be a completely different person. Now, I'm not trying to say that you should immediately put all of your time, all of your hours, your entire life into art right now, and there's nothing you can do about it. That's not what I'm trying to say at all. But generally speaking, me now does wish that me then would have done something to help me now, because me now is struggling and struggling a lot. This morning, let me just give you a little update. This morning, this morning, I felt absolutely terrible about myself. Just flat out. Now, middle of the day, I was fine. But I literally woke up and I've just felt like I had not been doing enough. Like I needed to stay up longer to get animations done. Because I hear this all the time. I hear this all the time where I'll hear an artist go, oh yeah, I had like 5 commissions a couple weeks ago and I just had to stay up. Like I had to pull like 2 all-nighters to get my work done. I'm over here like, am I not working hard enough? Am I not getting the things done that I need to get done in order to improve my art? And like, how are all these artists doing this? Like, I don't know what to do anymore. I'm like, should I not sleep? Like, what is the issue? What is the issue? I don't understand. And I'm going to tell you right now, please just pace yourself. Please pace yourself. There are going to be times where now you might be underdoing it. I underdid it when I was a teenager. I way underdid it. I did not do anything more than I had to and played as many video games as possible. Now, I was pretty good at video games. If I would have converted how good I was at video games into something else that probably would have been way more interesting than video games. But I am going to say, just pace yourself. Make sure you're going at a good pace. I will recommend that you still take time off for yourself every single day. There was another YouTube video that I recently watched about burnout. And this YouTuber said something very smart. She was talking about how you should spend at least like maybe around 45 minutes a day where you are doing something that you just enjoy and it is not something that is stressing you or taking out your creativity out of your beautiful little brain. You want to be resting. You want to rest a little bit while you're awake. Now, I know that it may sound counterintuitive. You might be that ambitious. I get it. I am too. But you don't want to break yourself down. I've done it before. You don't want to do it. Please take my advice. Okay. So how do you remedy when every project you do takes so long? It's not okay. The remedy that I wrote down really isn't that much of a fix. But what it is I wrote commit to projects. So I think the number one thing that you want to be able to do is to show your progress, not just to other people, but also to yourself. And I think one of the best ways to do that is to commit to projects. Now, I have so many different projects going on at once, right? I love writing. So I have like 3 fantasy stories in the making. I think there's like 180 pages between all of them that are written. It's not that much, but I am committing to those 3 books. And I'm not going to write a 4th book until those 3 are written or until one of them is finished. So it's some sort of committing to those projects, right? So at least I have some pages written. Second group of projects that I have, the animation project. So right now I am focusing solely, the only animation project that I have going on right now is modeling and rigging 9 characters. So far I've modeled 1. Oh, please wish me luck. This is going to be pretty, I think that this is going to be pretty intensive. This is why I'm making this video, because I'm like, I don't want my next video to come out in 9 months. And then everyone's like, oh, I'm so glad I waited 9 months. My 25 subscribers are so glad I waited 9 months in order to post in the next animation video. So I'll probably talk about the series a little bit and what I'm doing, and hopefully you enjoy that. But yeah, commit to your projects. Okay, if you have a drawing that you want to draw, finish the drawing. Now, one thing that I do see that a lot of people don't commit to is 2D animation projects, because 2D animation projects can be so extensive. It can be very, very extensive, because 3D can kind of be like, you don't have to do that much for 3D animations. Sometimes, like, for example, if you already have the rig and the 3D model and the space that you want to model them in, you don't really have to do that much. Like, the actual animation process is pretty streamlined as far as Blender goes when you kind of know what you're doing and you understand a lot of like different keyframe things. I'm being very general with my terminology, but when you understand keyframing and you understand different kinds of interpolation for keyframes, it doesn't, like, to me, I'm doing a lot of hand movements. To me, it's not that difficult to make like a very basic animation. If you want to make something that's really good and polished, obviously it's going to take a lot longer. But if you just want to do basic animation where you're getting all of the movements right, you can copy a lot of stuff. For example, like you'll see a lot of 2D animation, 3D animation, when they do speaking, they're not doing all of the different mouth movements. They are just going like jaw up, jaw down, jaw up, jaw down. You know what I mean? And it's not like, and that's 2 frames. That's copy and pasting keyframes. That's not actually doing something different each time. So all I'm gonna say is I'm just the tangent master today. Okay, so commit to your projects. You want to see where you were and you want to see where you've been going, and you also want something to show for your work. So commit to your projects. Next, how do you fix learning platforms, the growing pains? So I wrote down focus on new things. And this is a really interesting one because it's not going to take away the pain of learning, but focusing on the new things in the platform is going to make it so you learn faster. This is something that I think people should really focus on. So if you don't know something in your specific animation platform, a lot of people get scared and go, oh, I don't want to figure out how to do that because then it's going to take me more time to learn that, and then I'm going to have less time to actually do the animation. And that is true. But when you figure out how to do something in your platform and it makes your animations that 5% better, and you keep learning all these different new things, your animations are going to come out way better. For example, if I had never learned compositing in Blender, if I had never learned interpolation in Blender, if I had never learned interpolation, my animations would be way worse. If I had never learned so many little things, modeling would have taken me longer. The animation would just flat out look not as good. I wouldn't understand how to render different things as well as I'm doing. And now I'm taking it to the next level. I'm making completely new characters. I'm trying to learn cycles as best as possible. I'm trying to learn some particle effects while also I'm going to attempt to deal with some geometry nodes, even though I have no idea how to use those right now. So yeah, so I'm going to say focus on new things in your platform. Don't just go with what you know. Try and figure out as much as possible that you are going to use in the future, and that's very widespread, the usage of it and the applicability of it, so that in the future you can continuously reuse different things that you've learned from the past, and you'll just become much stronger doing that. The horrors: having no prior experience, obsessing over your work, everything taking so long, and learning the platforms. Yeah, it's tough. It really gets tough. I'll be completely honest. My first video I think I took down actually, but on my first video I went through a lot of stuff I was doing. I went through the writing, like what I was writing in the books. I went through some songs that I was making, and I also went through creating the first 3 characters and drawing them. And I will tell you, the first time I sat down and just started drawing, I was literally on the brink of just losing my mind. I was so bad at drawing. Now I can actually draw a little bit, to the point where I understand how to use Photoshop to draw very basic characters, and I can do it in a way that isn't taking me forever and it doesn't look like absolute garbage. So I'm happy about that. I'm happy with that. It took me a long time, but I finally got there. And combating the horrors. Get experience. Just put time into it. If you haven't put any time at all into something, it does get easier to put more time and more effort into something once you understand it a bit more. It does get easier, but it does get easier, but you still have to you still have to engage in the struggle. If you're not engaging in it, you're never going to progress, and that's just the truth. Pace yourself. please pace yourself. You don't want to lose time because you burned yourself out or became disinterested. The worst thing you can do is become disinterested. The second worst thing you can do is become burnt out, because when you're burnt out, you can come back through rest. When you lose interest, I lost interest in Blender for like 5 years, from like 16 to like 21. So like if I could go back, I'd say I wish I would have never lost interest in Blender. Now, why did I lose interest? It's because I didn't actually focus on my own projects, and which is why you need to commit to your projects so that you have something in the future to show for. I saw an animation reel like a couple days ago, and it was an animator who showed their animations from the ages of 17 to 22. And I about lost it because I'm 22. And this animator was making the coolest stuff. And I'm over here like, you made that at my age? I mean, look, I just started my journey, right? This person's been on their journey for probably more than 5 years, and I just started my journey. So I can't compare myself to these really, really talented artists who have put in their heart and soul into their work when I'm just now engaging in this journey. So it is unfair for me to do that to myself, but at the same time, you know, you have to push yourself forward. Anyways, yes, commit to your projects, make some cool stuff, and then each project should get a little better as you progress. Focus on new things. Yeah, so when you're making art, I will always say you always want to grow. You never want to stay stagnant. And the one thing you can do to never stay stagnant is to, first of all, practice continually and practice a decent amount every day. But second thing, when you're making new things, you want to be incorporating a new skill that you've learned within your animation platform in order to progress in that category of your skills, right? So you can say, oh, hey, I understand how this works in the platform now. I understand how this works in the platform now. And then you can just continually roll that over, and into every project, you can incorporate that new thing into your amazing work. Compositing really is such a great thing. Everyone should learn compositing. Anyways, that's the horrors of learning animation video for you. I'm so tired. I'm sorry. It's like 10. It's almost 10 p.m. I don't know why I'm filming this so late. Today I was like, I need to make more YouTube content. Oh, I need to make more YouTube content. Anyways, I'm so glad that you watched this video. If you want to play TMeck, the card game, on Steam, the demo, you can play it on Tabletop Simulator through the Steam Workshop in the link below. If you want to watch more videos, watch more of the videos. I'm sure there'll be a screen that pops up after this message. Bye. I need a better outro other than bye. Bye. Peace. I'll see you hopefully in a couple days when I make another video. Why is that so funny? I'm gonna go to sleep soon. I'm tired. I'm so tired. Maybe I'll stay up all night, just like playing. I was gonna say playing video games, playing Blender, playing around in Blender. I need to rig my character. I'll go do that. Okay, bye. Bye. I'll see you later. I hope you learned something, and if you didn't, I'm sorry. What is that outro? Hey, I really hoped you learned something. If you didn't, whatever. See ya.